Alright, hello and welcome back. My name is Myre, and today we're going to be checking out inside Star Citizen Life Among the Clouds. So let's just get into it then.
I felt goosebumps, so I don't know. I hope you feel the passion, not just from the audio team, but from everyone that poured a lot of work into this.
So this is the new gas giant Crusader, well, the old gas giant reimagined.
I hope music gives justice to the thousands of man-hours that were put in this place.
Wow. That's a cool shot.
It's just so much better than we ever hoped it would be when we started working on Crusader half a year ago.
There we go.
Very, very different than what you'd see. You know, there's huge vistas to look at, these beautiful sunsets to look at, but also almost too perfect a world.
I guess the biggest reaction that we're trying to create is this insane sense of scale, and we really want to capture that sense of Orison just sprawling out into the distance.
I wasn't expecting it looking so big.
I've seen our backers get excited about all kinds of tiny little details that you'd think, that doesn't really matter, but the first time I saw it for myself, it was beautiful.
I mean, that's just SC in a nutshell. Like, they're just so detail-oriented.
It'll only get better from here.
Things that give an environment character beyond just the architecture and the shape of it is things that are super important, like the dressing, the props that are placed around the foliage. A lot of it is about adding that human element in, because if you have no dressing, you've just got architecture, it feels very sterile and doesn't feel very real.
This area reminds me of those benchmarking softwares.
Add that character into a location is through what we call our graphic standards, which includes fonts and iconography and just style of lines and things. And those can be different between whole.
Is that the first time we've seen this, by the way? So we know we have Pico the Penguin in Microtech.
And things. And
is that the first time we've officially seen the name of the I guess the space whale? So space whales in Star Citizen are called stormwhales, and the Orison equivalent is called Finley.
Those can be different between whole landing zones, but they could also be different within landing zones.
I like that too. You know, this is a cloud city, right? Today's weather, partly cloudy. You don't think. You don't say.
Depending on it, it might be more industrial looking, it might be more habitational looking, or medical, for example. There's different ways you can do that.
One of the things that we talked about was tourism is a big part of your industry. You want to paint the pretty picture. You want to have the postcard shot. You consume through your eyes as you see what people are dressed like. What are the what are the vendors wearing? What are they selling? What are they talking? The people that come up to you. What's the average person look like? Like, that tells so much about.
They have their own merch.
In this
I love
case,
it.
we kind of focused in on sort of this 1950s Americana, like the white picket fence, the perfect family unit, the Norman Rockwell sort of painting. Like, what is that sci-fi version of that?
Yeah, it's very BioShock Infinite, like, meets more like sci-fi vibes. So like they have that, again, that Americana kind of vibe, but it's also like really high tech with the whole Star Citizen thing going on at the same time. It's a really cool union of ideas.
Suits. It's like that traditional, well-dressed businessman of that era, and that kind of was our jumping off point. It's got a much different feel than a lot of the zones because of that.
Love it.
Performance is one of the biggest challenges, especially for lighting. For lighting, we wanted to achieve a nice contrast between, kind of a friendly, welcoming mood for the commercial and tourism areas, and then at the same time, not an unwelcoming mood, but more of a functional, kind of high-tech workspace for the other industrial platforms.
Gives me a Sydney Opera House vibes.
We also want to add further contrast so that at daytime, it's very clean, it's very bright, and then at nighttime you get a little bit more varied color palette. And because we want to have all of this light at nighttime, we have to take into account the level of detail that we expect, while also leaving enough room in the lighting budget for all of these lights, like one platform further away from you, 2 platforms, 3, and even further than that. So lighting is a big challenge.
So this must be the Orison music as well, if you can hear it.
My personal favorite.
Reminds me a lot of Shattered City from World of Warcraft.
The fireflies that come out at night in the garden, they are absolutely stunning. It's one of those things you don't necessarily notice the little details consciously, but it just breathes so much life into an otherwise empty space. In the case of the platform thrusters, you've got to communicate why this platform is floating. You've got this massive platform, it's got to have some way of staying in the air. So the idea is that these thrusters are there to keep this platform in situ, otherwise you're just going to fall out of the sky and fall into the gas giant. So first for us, been a bit technically challenging, but I think it's going to be worth it.
That's really cool. They've explained that before, like how these platforms stay. So they're not constantly firing, but intermittently they just fire every now and then to stay like a level like that.
The initial goal and reference point for generating clouds, like realistic looking clouds that are convincing for the player, or like for everybody, obviously, is always going to be Earth. But art direction wanted something less Earth-like and a bit more alien, if you will. And that was one of the bigger challenges.
I definitely know there's some visual artifacts that you can see sometimes in high contrast areas or in the distance and stuff. But I know that if it's not fixed by 3.14, that Carson and the team will definitely be able to work on those and improve those in the future.
I think it's great that the cloud tech is going out as it is, because it does look amazing. Everything that's going to have clouds will use this technology.
They can only improve on it.
It's there already. It's so promising that we have no doubt it's going to be amazing once it's fully realized and deployed in the whole universe.
Okay, all right, Pedro, calm down. What's with this choir all of a sudden? It is like you're flying through heaven, though.
Wanted to feel
there he is.
The more grandeur element of Crusader. It's a fantastic planet. I think the music is the first thing that makes you understand the culture and the tone of the place. The guidance I got from Darren when you land is that you wanted to feel as if you were looking at an eternal sunset or something like that. I mean, kind of like makes you go into the most human part of you. And for the industrial part, we wanted to make sure we felt the grandeur of the industrious mind of engineers that work there and construct all the beautiful ships that we have in the Star System. I certainly really much more deeper than usual, even more deeper. I mean, I try to go deeper and deeper in everything I go, so hope you guys enjoy it.
Hell yeah, Pedro.
Our next landing zone, Orison, and the gas giant crusader that sits beneath it represent the next major milestone for our planet tech, content, environment, engine, graphics, VFX teams, and more. And like each planet and moon before it, will continue to iterate and improve as subsequent technologies come online and further development progresses. And while it's a major component of the upcoming Alpha 3.14, there's more where that came from. Now, before we let you go for the quarter, let's take a moment to recap everything coming our way in the patch report. As we just saw, the fabled Orison, city amongst the clouds and dream of star citizens everywhere, makes its long-awaited debut riding high on the gas giant crusader in Alpha 3.14.
So it is pronounced Orison, by the way. That's how you pronounce it. I don't know what the official Star Citizen pronunciation is, but it is Orison. It's just another word for prayer, which I think Pedro really does get Orison's music right, just because of the nature of the word itself and also the setting. I don't think Pedro has ever really like fallen short of the mark when it comes to his music. He's just a blessing to like the community and to like the game. He's just amazing. And he's a really nice person to boot, so yo, it's crazy.
Now, like Microtech and Loreville before it, it will continue to expand in subsequent patches with the addition of hospitals, the Crusader showroom, whale watching tours, and more. Additionally, this first version of Crusader boasts another new feature for Alpha 3.14, our initial implementation of planetary volumetric clouds, which builds off previous work from our stellar gas clouds and begins the process of expanding that tech across the entire surface of a planet or a moon. Now, while still in active development and not yet final, the work continues beyond Alpha 3.14 with SDF occlusion to help alleviate graphical artifacting, the addition of local VFX work, and a refinement to overall process that will improve an already amazing quality seen here in subsequent patches. On the gameplay front, there are several advancements to ship and vehicle operation coming in Alpha 3.14 that aim to further improve the combat and flight experience, including Power Management V2, formerly referred to here as capacitors, designed to rebalance all the connected systems that make ships go. From thrusters to weapons to shields, adding another layer of critical decision-making to combat is just one more way to put the successful outcome of any battle more squarely in players' hands.
So you can see with the HUD here, with the HUD slice elements they have now, you have like all your targeting information on one side on the right, and you have all your boost and everything else on the left-hand side there. It looks really cool. It looked really cool for like the first implementation. I don't know what it means by lock and on the bottom right there and the 3 pips for it, but like we have decoy, we have noise, we have the weapons as well. You saw when they shoot with the energy panther weapons there that there's some time like delay before it then recharges. It looks like with the ballistics though, like it's more just a bar telling you how much ballistics you have left, because you know, like it's, you know, 284 rounds out of 500 and it's pretty much by half. And we saw a decrease in the previous scene as well. It's got the altimeter, and it looks like they've changed the speedometer as well there on, is it speedometer? The speed on the left is also changed as well. It looks really cool. Really cool. I love this iteration of the HUD.
Shields, adding another layer of critical decision-making to combat is just one more way to put the successful outcome of any battle more squarely in players' hands. There's also Missile Operator Mode and the rework to Missile Guidance and Control, which not only brings about a new way to interact with and control the variety of munitions available on ships and vehicles, but improves the way they handle themselves in the verse by bringing the same intelligent flight control system pilots use for spacecraft to their missiles and torpedoes.
So forget missiles. Are you seeing this new scanning system that's up there? It looks like the constellation that they're aiming at there has like a signature that like it gives out, and regardless of distance, because they're closing in the distance, they're 4 clicks out, and then with 3, that shape didn't change. So it looks like based on distance,
flight control system pilots use for spacecraft.
If the ship, you know, is giving off a signature and you can see it and you can read it, you can see them from far away and kind of ID targets from distance. It's really cool.
To their missiles and torpedoes. This has the effect of improving both performance and tracking ability while providing skilled pilots a way to use their talents in avoiding death and destruction. A revitalization
That'll be
of the
so useful, especially like, let's say you are not a pilot, but you are in another seat, right? Like maybe the co-pilot seat, maybe the missileer seat, like let's say in the Hammerhead, that you'd need that situational awareness so you can see what's going on, who you want to fire missiles at. That's awesome.
The way radar, scanning, and ping work throughout the Star Citizen universe is another essential addition to the upcoming Alpha 3.14.
All right, look at
with
scanning as well.
And consistent means of discovery, distraction, and potentially destruction.
All right, so
is a of the way.
So sorry for like going back and forth, but I think this is important.
And avoiding death and destruction. A revitalization of the way
radar,
scanning, and ping work throughout the Star Citizen universe.
So on the top side there, you can see the word scanning glowing as they're using scanning mode.
Is another essential addition to the upcoming Alpha 3.14.
So one thing that they showed off really briefly there as well is on the top overview thing, you can see the person's name, the faction they're in, their health, but also their cross-sectional signature. So your cross-section is basically determined by your ship's like shape, like how big your ship is and that kind of thing. But the fact that the signature itself has a number probably means that like if your ship loses a wing, that number will drop, and maybe a CS missile may not be as effective as when the ship is whole. But it's kind of cool. I wonder if that signature also changes depending on the orientation of the ship to you. I don't know if scanning is real time once you've scanned them, or if you'll have to rescan to see what their EM and IR signatures are, and so the same with their CS too.
with detailed and consistent means of discovery, distraction, and potentially destruction. Now, this new unified system with its upcoming FPS counterpart will form the foundation of a new and improved level of investigation, cat and mouse chase, and more for the future, while changing the way players interact with content already in the game today.
So on the bottom right there, you see again carrying. So even for like rocks and things like that, this system works for it. And so it's a bit slightly more janky for mining with this scanner. Maybe in the future we'll actually have an ore scanner. So this is a placeholder, but it has a lot of the elements that we normally use with the tab scanner when you're scanning things without using mining mode. But as you can see there, it's a bit confusing. Going by eye, it looks like, you know, total value. So you see mineable commodities, then total value, then hephaestonite. So it looks like that's per bit of ore. And so like there are 4 different categories per mineral. So you have total value, that's total overall value, 6.4% hephaestonite, right? Then total value 23.29 is likely what we have normally. So that's total value of detectable ores. So 23% of all the ore that's currently in the rock is hephaestonite. And then the actual ore itself is hephaestonite. Then how much of that hephaestonite is volatile is the last of those things. Then again we go, so total value 3% overall of the rock, including inert material, 3% is bexolite. Then of all the actual detectable ore in that rock is 12.6%. Then it tells you it's bexolite. Then it tells you how much of that bexolite is volatile. So it's a bit weird. It could obviously change over time. It's not the easiest thing to look at, and you'll probably also have to scroll down to see the rest of it, because 17% of the rock going forwards after that is again another kind of rock. But yeah, like hoping to see this evolve as well. It might be a bit confusing for people to get used to, because I don't think it's the most intuitive thing in the world. I might even be wrong from what I just went by, but I don't think I am.
Today. And of course, all of these new systems are displayed better than ever before with the new Canvas Slice Hud, a tech made possible by our continuing development of building blocks that aims to provide an improved layout that maximizes screen real estate while providing more opportunities for increased information and the groundwork for allowing manufacturer-specific visual designs like the Aegis one we've seen before and the Drake version currently being developed now.
Okay, so again, all this stuff that we're seeing as Disco is talking right now is subject to change. You know, like it's not out yet, 3.14 isn't out, but what I noticed are a couple things. First of all, if you look at the power triangle,
like the Aegis one we've seen before, and on
the bottom left, it looks like all power currently is set to weapons. However, when they started this scene, which was, let's see, when they started this scene,
to provide,
the Panthers were not at maximum power. Oh, look at that. So power actually is set to maximum on thrusters right now. So it looks like if power isn't set to whatever amount of weaponry, then the energy weapons will reload, but they will not reload to maximum, it seems.
An improved layout.
Because look, nothing is recharging, but no capacitor power is currently dedicated to your energy weapons.
Layout that maximizes screen real estate.
Then they fire,
providing more opportunities for increased information and the groundwork for allowing manufacturer-specific visual designs like the Aegis one we've seen before and the Drake version.
And now it's at 100%. So maybe there must be a hotkey to also change power now.
Version currently being developed now. But when you're flying through the verse, there's been a ship waiting patiently for its time to shine. That last variant of our original 5 pledge ships finally makes its debut in the upcoming Alpha 3.14, the Constellation Taurus. Now, it may not look like much, kid, but it's got it where it counts, and that's the cargo hold. Just be careful where you take it, because Alpha 3.14 also brings with it the danger, the conflict, and the opportunities inherent in 2 dynamic events scheduled to occur during the next quarter. First, the return of the newly improved and remastered Xeno threat that will bring all players across all servers to bear in battling the tormented invaders from the Pyro system, as well as the smaller, more local threat of the Ninetales in a new PvP-focused event that will occur several times in different locations throughout the Stanton system.
Several times in different locations, okay.
Of course, if you get caught up where you shouldn't be, there's also the new surrender system that will allow criminals who can't get away to be arrested without losing either their life or their ship. If you're into that kind of thing.
Right, so I mean, you won't lose your ship, you won't lose your life, but is there any other use to surrendering? You know, like maybe perhaps a reduced sentence, hopefully, or something. I guess maybe they're kind of gearing to losing your ship being a more like I guess, punishing thing.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that with Orison and Crusader, we truly do belong amongst the clouds. That the volumetric cloud tech itself might not be exactly where we want it to be just yet, but like with all things in Star Citizen,
most likely,
it'll continue to be iterated on and improved in subsequent releases. And that, boy howdy, can that Pedro make a piece of music.
Right?
Jeez. Now we're going to take our regularly scheduled quarterly break here, but our other broadcasts will continue on Fridays. And for all the latest information about the continuing progress of Alpha 314, including when you can jump in and help test things in the PTU, all that stuff will be available on the robertspaceindustries.com website. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Y'all in about a month.
Okay, a month's time, and then we'll get another SCL, or sorry, ISC. Again, SCLs and such like that will be still happening, I believe. But yeah, what an ISC. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of stuff to look forward to with 314. I'm glad to see that they are committed to releasing Orison and the new Crusader in with 314. Not that, you know, like it's necessarily anything huge when it comes to gameplay, but it does kind of give you, you know, a more tangible sense of like progress and where we're at right now with Star Citizen. They mentioned a few times in this video that cloud tech is something for Orison, so I'm not really expecting to see any clouds anywhere else like on Hurston and stuff. We haven't yet seen the SCL video as recording this video, so I don't know if they've addressed that and they've talked about it at all, so we'll check that out very soon. In a few minutes if you're watching live on Twitch, but otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll likely post that video relatively soon as well. Alright, anyway, well, thank you so much for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, well, thank you for watching with me as well. And we'll see you for the next one very soon. Until then, please feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, as always, be good.